back to the Thought Cloud podcast. The goal of this conversation is to help students find their passions by hearing what their peers are passionate about. Our guest today is Payton Craft. Payton boy, is she doing a lot. I mean, she is involved in campus from so many things, such as sororities to getting involved in sports. She's covering so much footage for the Buffs, for all their sports. She's actually interning for some professional teams as well under Cronky for their Altitude TV, and she's covering the Nuggets, the Avalanche, and so much more. We're going to hear about that. We're going to hear about what she's studying. She's studying finance. We're going to hear how she got into that, what she hopes to do, what she's learned along the way. Payton, I'm super excited to dig into it with you and hear about your story. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to be here. Obviously, like you said, yeah, I'm doing a lot of things here in college. It's my senior year, so trying to get as much in as I can before I graduate in May. But it's been fun. It's just been fun, covering sports both in college and professional, especially living in Colorado. You got two of the best sports teams, the Nuggets and the Avalanche. So it's been a blast, and I'm just trying to enjoy every moment of it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm based out of Reno, Nevada, so saying Avalanche are some of the best. I mean, a lot of Golden Knights people might want to challenge that, but there's been some good showdowns between the teams. But you're right, Denver is such a hot spot. You're in Boulder, which isn't far from Denver at all. You're in your last year. CU, how'd you choose CU? Great school, awesome school. How'd you get there?
So I'm originally from Colorado, but I actually went to the University of Arizona my freshman year. But I'm a COVID graduate, so I graduated high school in 2020. So when I went to Arizona, everything was shut down. I just wasn't having the thought of time I would have going to an out-of-state school. So sophomore year, I transferred back to Colorado just to be closer to family. And I've loved it ever since. And yeah, I just like being close to home. I live in Fort Collins, so it's about an hour away. And yeah, I love Boulder. I'm glad I made the choice to move back. It definitely feels more like me, a little more chill, and a lot more kind of sports closer to Boulder.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So going into, that's actually interesting. I didn't know that you were at Arizona beforehand. So why did you decide Arizona initially? What were your thoughts going into that?
I wanted to get away from home, like every college kid or high school kid graduating. You're like, I do not want to stay close to my parents. So I thought, well, I want warm weather. I'm not a big skier. So I thought Arizona was the perfect kind of opportunity for me. And then I just kind of realized, I am a homebody. I like, that closeness. And then my sister actually just transferred here too. So it's been fun to have her around for my senior year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's lucky you got to go to college with your siblings. All my brothers went to different spots, but yeah, no, that's awesome. So you got that home feel. You got that home feel, and now you're in your senior year at Boulder. What's changed from that first semester there to now this last semester that you're spending in Boulder?
I mean, obviously everyone knows sports has changed just from senior year with Coach Prime being hired. It like completely changed the dynamic on campus. I'm obviously a sports girl, so when I worked for the CU Sports Information from sophomore year on, and everyone's like, "Oh, that stinks. You have to go to the football games," because no one, everyone was just selling their tickets. No one wanted to go, but this year it was really fun. Everyone's like, "Do you have a ticket for me?" So that's been a big change, and I think just adjusting to the college life in general. I don't know, as you just grow up through college, you get more used to it and everything kind of becomes second nature. It's not like, oh my gosh, if I don't do this, if I don't do that, you just kind of feel more at ease and your friends are all around and it's just been fun. And obviously senior year, everyone's sad to leave since you've made such a great relationship with other people. So it's been a good time.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you found that too. And I'm glad that you liked sports before getting into that. I mean, it's kind of nice to buy low and be, watch the tide rise. That's wonderful to be a part of that. It had to have been amazing seeing all that came, in this last year with Coach Prime and the Buffs, and just the celebrities that came out was really pretty darn cool as well. Lil Wayne was there. Like that was awesome. That was
Yeah,
probably
that
my
was
highlight.
crazy.
Yeah. So much fun. So much fun. So, as far as sports go, just to give people a little bit better of a background, how are you involved, right? Like, give them the breakdown of how you're involved.
Yeah, so right now I started in sports information, which is where the business side, like finance kind of stats came in. And from there, I kind of realized I want to be a little more on camera, like an on camera personality. So I actually started in social media, and that's what I do now. I run social media for Altitude, which is under Cronky Sports. And that is social media for the Nuggets and the Avalanche. And basically, it's just, tweeting out little things, posting on their Instagram, on their website. So that's been really fun. And then for the Buffs, I kind of started my own YouTube of just, showing people who weren't in Boulder because it was such a big scene, the game day atmosphere, interviews with students, some athletes. So yeah, I kind of do a little bit of everything. My goal obviously is to do on air camera stuff. So like sideline reporter for the NFL, but right now I'm just starting small, doing the social media side and just showing people what they may not get to see if they're not here in Colorado.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, go check out her YouTube channel if you haven't, or if you are on YouTube right now. Go check it out. Payton Craft. She does some really just cool stuff. It's fun to watch what you do. So keep it up. As far as getting involved in that and getting started, personally, I think it makes more sense. People can understand that. But as far as getting involved on their campus, how did you go about getting that position to get involved with the athletics?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to be in sports when I transferred back. I was an athlete growing up and now not doing athletics in college. I just wanted to get involved. So I sent so many emails to the athletic departments, sports information, the athletic director. And then my whole family actually went to CU Boulder. So they did have some connections. And in sports, it's a lot about, who you know. So they reached out to them and eventually they're like, yep, go for it. You have the job. So I just worked as a student assistant to the sports information department. And from there, it's kind of just skyrocketed. I took that position and then used every bit of access I had for CU to start, going to interview athletes and filming the games.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So persistence, I guess, that's the key
Yeah.
message there is don't give up after one email sent. But no, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so you're studying finance and you said statistics is also interesting to you. You're lacing it in with sports. How does that all tie together?
Yeah, I mean, with sports, any team, there's stats to how many passing yards, how many goals, a bunch of that. And I love doing it at first. I think you can get as deep as you want to dive into statistics, and I didn't want to dive that deep. I just wanted to know, point spread, all that kind of stuff. So from there, I just, I do some betting. Like on my YouTube, I have some like points picks for Payton, and from there, I just kind of take the
That's
statistics.
pretty
And then
cool, actually. That's actually
it's
really
fun.
cool. Yeah, I bet. I bet. Are you long-term positive or are we trying to break even?
I'm trying to break even right now. Let's just say I always bet on the Buffs to win because I go here. And towards the end of the season, they started losing by a lot.
Tough.
But I mean, take what you will. I'll post it, and then if you want to go with me or not, that's up to you.
I love it. No, I think hey, got to stick by your team. Got to stick by your team. That's awesome. So
Exactly.
the finance, you like the stats, you like the sports, the betting, it ties into it. That's fun. You mentioned, NFL reporter. You said that's got to be one of the biggest goals you've got as far as career goes. Tell us about that. What's the path that one has to take to get there, and why have you been, you know, excited about that, opportunity or that path that you want to take?
Yeah, I would say there's no one direct path. I mean, you look at these famous sideline reporters, Aaron Andrews, right now, everyone has a different path. That's why, people will ask me, why are you a finance major? Well, you don't necessarily have to be a journalism major to get into sports, to get into reporting. So right now the path is meeting as many people as you possibly can is, never, my motto is never saying no to anybody. So I'm very busy, let's say that, but I've met so many great people and hopefully one day as I graduate college, I'll start applying to, ESPN, NFL, and then something will just click and I'll go from there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that is, we're all rooting you on over here. I'll tell you that much. That's going to be awesome if we can say, oh, she was on this show
Right.
back in the day. So rooting you on 100%. That would be awesome. As far as that goes, picks this weekend. We got a big game, don't we? Two big games
Oh,
this weekend.
we do. And I mean, being from Denver Broncos fans, I do not want to see Kansas City win again.
I don't either.
So,
I don't either.
yeah.
Definitely not. Well, by the time this is posted, we'll see what the outcome was. We'll see if we're
Yeah,
right.
my outcome for Super Bowl is going to be Ravens and Lions. I think
I think so
49ers
too.
game to Green Bay was really close, so I'm hoping Lions kind of pull through with that one.
Yeah, I don't think the Niners should have won that game, but
Yeah.
anyway, anyways, well, that's awesome. That's super cool. So gymnastics too. I want to talk about that. You're commentating for DU Gymnastics. That's Denver University. How do you how'd you get into that one? Is that a similar story as far as outreach, and what's your involvement look like there?
Yeah, so I was a gymnast my entire life growing up, from when I was 4 all the way till the end of high school, and then COVID hit, and I just decided I wanted to go to college, not do athletics, just experience a normal college life. But I kind of reached out. I knew I wanted to get back into that sport. Obviously I couldn't do it anymore, and I wanted to be involved. So I started coaching a little bit and coaching 3-year-olds. I don't think that was for me. I didn't have the patience necessarily. But so then I reached out to DU, and they also that was through my internship with Cronky. They kind of got me connected, and they're like, yeah, ex-gymnast, come commentate for us. And it just started recently, but there's a couple meets coming up. So I'm really excited to keep doing that and just kind of get better through that side of like play-by-play calling.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you have to kind of know gymnastics to play by play call it, because I
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's
even know where to start with that,
right.
right?
That's one sport, like all the terms, like you either have to know it, like study it 24/7, or have done it, because the terms to describe some of those things those athletes do are, most people probably botch the name anyway. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's like saying they made a touchdown. It's like,
right.
didn't make a touchdown.
Yeah, it's like,
That's funny.
no, wrong sport.
Wrong sport. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, this is going to be, maybe you don't have to pick your favorite, but if you had to say the atmosphere of any sort of sports event, what would you say would be your favorite atmosphere that you like to be a part of?
That's hard, but I would probably say college football, because everyone still has that team spirit. It's not really like a bandwagon thing. It's just you go to school here, you have the alumni, and I think just the atmosphere in a college football stadium is unlike anything else. I mean, you have the pro sports, and obviously, like in Vegas, if you win the Stanley Cup, or in Colorado when they won the Stanley Cup, it's crazy. But if you don't support them when they're bad, then it's no fun to go to those games. And I think
Right.
college, you always have those people coming back who went to school there, who want to see that team be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I actually saw, they showed this gal that was, rooting on Boulder. She had a sister, and now this gal was 90 something years old. Right. And she was do you remember that story?
Yeah, there's Peggy and her sister. They're like, I don't know how, probably 90, 95. I do not know how old they are.
Yeah.
They have gone to every single like Buffs football, Buffs basketball game, and that truly shows you what college is about. It's coming back constantly, just hoping one day your team is amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's cool. College takes the throne on that one, I guess. I think college sports are great as well. Some people just, I don't know why they're like, oh, I don't watch college. It's like, well, maybe they don't have that team spirit, but well, good deal. Well, what I really like is that you're doing so much outside of your classes. I think that that's important. Going back to the messaging for, what people can take from this. There's things that you can do in your classes that'll set you up, but there's so much more beyond your classes that are important to get you where you want to be. There's not a class, as far as I'm aware of, how to become an NFL reporter, right?
No.
It's like, it's not, oh, they took the class, great, they're in. No, it's like you have to work so hard outside of class, and I think that's so important. I love to see you digging in. As far as it goes, undergraduate institutions, right? University. What would you say, if anything, that they could improve on? What would you suggest that they really, double down and make an improvement on?
Yeah, to your point a little bit, I'd say I'm in the business school, so they have, you can go meet with companies inside the business school, and hopefully they'll, you send your resume in, you'll get an internship through them. but there's no connect like from the business school to the communication school. There's like you either have to be in one school or the other. And for me, especially, that's been really hard. I haven't really had that connect through school to reach out to companies in the journalism world. So I think by more integrating classes a little bit, obviously, like you can take electives and, do a couple classes in the communications journalism school. But in all, they're focusing, well, if you chose business, you chose business. And I
Right.
think like I said, no one has a set path. When you're in their freshman year and you choose the business school, who knows? You may want to go be an art design, you could do anything with what you want. So I think just having maybe a little more free time to try either more electives or maybe a requirement to, try 2 classes in a different school, because you never know if that's going to be your passion versus what you chose.
Absolutely. I think that's important. I think it's important to be able to kind of step outside that bubble and not be bubbled in. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the universe has heard it here first. As far as what they can continue to do well, what do you think universities are doing a good job at?
I think that they are super good at getting people involved, whether it's in sports, in clubs, student government, anything you want to do in college. If you want to join the marching band, there's open tryouts to a lot of these things. And it just gives kind of students the ability to try extracurriculars. If you maybe love business and you want to get into the business kind of side of kind of government, then they have a club for that. There's clubs for everything. So that's bad for me to say because I haven't joined a club. I've been so busy kind of working and doing sports stuff. But I know plenty of people who do dance class for fun because they just want to get involved, meet people. And I think they do a good job of freshman year to senior year offering different things for those kids to try.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No, there is so much to do. Maybe more than one person can do, but
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, props to you if you try to do like 10 of them. I mean, go for it.
go for it. Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, I guess as far as it goes, then we're going to get into some closing questions here and talk. Whatever comes to your mind first, just shoot back. But the first one is, what is the most stressful part of being a student day in and day out?
Balancing school, work, and social life. I mean, that's like a cliche. Everyone says you got to figure out how to balance it. But as you especially starting to get into junior and senior year, finding that balance of this is what I love to do. I need to start learning how to kind of make money and then still going out with friends and trying to graduate on time. It's a lot for a student, but I say, you take it one step at a time. You try to relate stuff like I've related. Okay, I'm going to go to my finance class because that will eventually help me in the career I want to do.
Yeah,
So I think it's just relating back and taking it one step at a time. Don't like throw everything together and be like, oh my gosh, I'm graduating in literally like 4 months. I think just taking it slow and enjoying still college.
absolutely. Yeah, 100%. That's great. Next question. What would you say the most meaningful way for students to help each other is?
I say it's all about connections. It's all about reaching out to someone, even if they're just in your class and you're like, I don't think I'll ever be friends with this person. You never know what can happen. So it's just talking to people, reaching out, trying to form these relationships. I'm not saying you need to go out with them 24/7. It's just, connecting with them and trying to find a little link between you guys and maybe something will connect and you're passionate about the same thing. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, you never know who you run into in the future too.
Yeah.
Like there'll be people where I'm like, oh my goodness, I would have never thought in a million years I'd see that person ever again.
Right. And then
But
you never know, like maybe this person's like super famous. And if you're mean to them, like something couldn't happen. But just one hello, like, how are you? You never know what that can lead to.
yeah, no, 100%. 100%. Maybe they know someone that could get the NFL reporter audit or
Exactly.
interview. Exactly. So that's wonderful. I like that. Next question. What's your biggest hope to accomplish during your time on Earth?
Oh, that's like hard. Let's see. I mean, my biggest dream is to be an NFL reporter. My biggest like hope and goal, I'd say, is to make it like to have little people, like little girls, little boys, kids look at me and be like, there's no one direct way to get where you are. If you work hard, like anything is possible. Anything is possible.
I love that. That's great. That's great. Okay, last question. What is your top piece of advice for those who are early in their educational journey?
My top piece of advice is not to just focus on one thing. Like you may be passionate about one thing, but it's to try everything, anything. Like I said, my motto is never say no, because you never know if something you'll like something and not something else. So I say, if someone's like pick a major freshman year of college, okay, you can pick a major, but that doesn't mean you have to just focus on that. It's try whatever comes your way, and you never know what can happen.
Absolutely. We'll never say no. I love that. You got a lot of energy to be able to do that. That's awesome. I commend you. I think a lot of people can learn from that. Payton, it's been awesome having you on. As far as where people can keep up with you and your story and your path, what are some good places for them to keep
Yeah,
tabs?
so like I said, I do a lot on social media. So it's just my name, Payton.craft on Instagram. And then also on YouTube, I post a lot for sports and what I'm doing. So again, Payton Craft on YouTube. And yeah, if you come, comment on it that you watch this, I'll definitely try to reach out to you and give you any advice that you need.
Absolutely. Payton, thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I love this. Yeah, thank you for having me on this podcast. It's been great.